It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So, folks, I'm having lunch the other day, and I'm with a very influential person who is really has making a big impact in the greater Hazleton area. And I'm listening to a person across from me badmouth the Hazleton School District, telling people, his friend, that the school district is low in scores, the teachers are not doing their jobs, the administration. And I said, hold it here a second. You know, we're not talking fact. And he said, well, you know it as well as I know it, that, you know, the student scores are low, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there's a lot more involved here than what you're talking about. At that particular point in time, I decided to call Dr. Antonelli up, and I said, Frank, you and I have to talk about a couple of things, because I think it's totally unfair of what's being said. Some people are being said. So Frank, as usual, responded. He says, Sam, whatever you need, we're going to be there to explain what's happening. And I'm very happy today to have Dr. Frank Antonelli here, who is the superintendent of the Hazleton Area School District, the principal of the high school, Rocco Petrone, and principal of the McAdoo Elementary, Matt Marnell. And today, folks, let me just tell you a couple things. The Hazleton School District covers 250 square miles. There's almost 11,000 students, okay? There's 1,400 employees and 700 teachers. Of the 700 teachers, I'm going to tell you probably the 698 of them are the best teachers that you could ever get. Yeah, we have one or two of them in there. They know who they are, but there's 600, in my estimation. 14th largest in the state of Pennsylvania at 500 districts, okay? So what's being done in the Hazleton Area School District today? We're going to learn about facts. So I want to welcome Frank, Rocco, and Matt coming on the show. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming on the show.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Sam.
Let's get right to the fact, okay? Well, you know, sometimes the media could be good friends, sometimes they could be bad friends, sometimes, you know, we like to present things that are factual. But let's go to the scores that, you know, I think probably, people's attention said, wait a minute, your scores were low in 5 areas in the schools. As you mentioned, the high school, McAdoo, Hazel Elementary, Heights Terrace, West Hazleton Elementary, and the high school. Explain that to me, Frank, first of all, what that entire process was.
First, I want to say that we're here to defend our students and to fight for our students, because we know how hard our students work each and every day and how committed they are to an education, Sam. I want you to know that our AP Calculus scores are in the top 1% in the entire United States. I want you to know that our high school mock trial team, under the very capable direction of Crystal Lyons, copped regional honors. In doing so, beat Wyoming Seminary to represent this region at the state competition. I want you to know about our distinguished graduates and the prestigious college placements that they garner each and every year at many Ivy League schools, Patriot League schools, and fine state-run institutions throughout this Commonwealth. We have the highest student participation in the Future Business Leaders of America Club in the state of Pennsylvania. We have the second highest membership in the entire United States. This year's state president of FBLA is a student at the Hazleton Area High School, Morgan Starr. And I could go on. As far as the test scores, this is one test that's given at the end of the year. And educational researchers will tell you that poverty is the single most influential factor in a child's overall development, certainly as well as their educational development, because children of poverty simply don't have the same educational opportunities, health care, nutritional care, supports and services as their peers coming from wealthier zip codes. We're aware of this. It's a sad reality. We're working very, very hard with these students. If you look at the 5 schools on that list, they're no different than schools that are on this list throughout the state and throughout the nation. They're schools from urban areas with high percentages of economically disadvantaged students, high percentages of English language learners, high percentages of special education students. That's a fact. We're working with these students. We're very sensitive to their needs. But what we need is time. When we have a student enter our district that speaks little or no English, they are required to take the state assessment the first year they're here, whether they can read that test or not. After 1 year, their test scores are counted in the scores that you're referencing, Sam. Doesn't seem quite right, especially when the experts are telling us it takes a student who speaks little or no English 3 to 5 years to become fluent in English and 5 to 7 years to achieve on an educational par with their English-speaking peers. It's not fair to the limited or non-English speaking student to count that score in this test after they're here for a year. We need time, given time, and we've done studies on this. We have been able to show that the longer the student is in the system, working with us and our outstanding teachers, their scores on the assessments increase exponentially. That's what we need. We need time. McAdoo, Kelayers, and Mr. Marnell is here this morning. He's a wonderful administrator with a wonderful staff. Historically, for years, they were achieving at the highest levels of the state assessment, in fact, earning Keystone Awards for high test scores. 2 years ago, we expanded the building, including 7th and 8th grade. We brought in students from the southern section of the city of Hazleton. In 2 years, McAdoo, Kelayers, same teachers, same administrators, went from being a high-performing school to an underperforming school. The teachers didn't change, the administration didn't change, the demographic changed. We're not blaming the students. We are here to defend our students. We will meet this challenge, and we embrace the challenge.
And I have no doubt about that. Matt immediately mentioned about your school. Primarily, what are you doing in revision in the curriculum?
Well, just to expand on some of the points Dr. Antonelli mentioned, in 2012 and the 2013, we did go from a kindergarten through 6 building to a kindergarten through 8 building. The summer leading up to that school year, our student population went from 470 students to over 900 students. Wow. So there were some other factors. A part of that, we expanded our boundaries, but we also became a school choice. Now, why did we become a school choice? Because our previous success. The state deemed that within our school district, because we were so successful, our students within the district had a choice to come. So our population exploded. Our class size went from an average of 20 students per class to over 26 students per class. And in some cases, in our middle school, we've had 37, 38, and 39 students. So obviously the issues arise because of that. We also went from previous to the 2012-13 school year, we went from an economically disadvantaged population of 57% to over 73%. Over the course of that school year.
And Matt, they're serious factors. Mm-hmm. I think, they're very serious factors. And so now the challenge is to me, as far as a school teacher, and I'm going to tell you, as I said, I wouldn't want to be a school teacher today, but I applaud the teachers we have today, and that's enough being said about that. I think they're excellent. But so then how do you then, as Frank said, it takes time, okay? Now here it is, you get all these things, the kids are coming in. So what are we doing as far as adjusting so the public knows that that the school district is moving in that direction? Right.
Well, our teachers, they do a lot. And get into specifics, this is our actual second year of our teachers working under the Teacher Effectiveness Instrument. And what that is, it's a form of evaluation which was established by the state of Pennsylvania. Last year we were a pilot district. This year we are across the board, in which every teacher has to take part in that. And what is included in that? Well, best practices. Best practices in education. No longer is it a situation where you have a teacher in front of a class lecturing. You have data-driven instruction. All right? You have differentiated instruction to where you're meeting the needs of all your students with your instruction on a daily basis. All right? You have different types of assessment, your formative assessment, your summative assessment. All of these things work. And then at the end of that assessment, where are you going? Are you enriching your top students? All right? Are you reinforcing and giving the need, or meeting the needs of those students that aren't up to par? So whatever population we have, and let me just add something to that. We wouldn't change our population for anything. our teachers at McAdoo Kelayers talk about this often. We enjoy the challenge, and we take the challenge
And
on.
there's no
And we love that. So I just wanted to get that part in there. But getting back to it, Sammy, is that it's just all about best practices. What practices in the classroom work? And when I see that McAdoo Kelayers is in the bottom 15%, all right, it breaks my heart because I'm in those classrooms on a daily basis. We all are, all the administrators, we are required to, school or district policy as well as through the state. We see those best practices on a daily basis. We see our students engaged on a daily basis. So I take that bottom 15% personally and put it out the window and focus on what I'm seeing.
Just to address the class size issue, the district, as you well know, has committed to an expansion program, approximately $25 million renovating and expanding the former Bishop Hafey High School into the Maple Manor Elementary School, which will allow us to reduce class size to 22 students K through 2 and 25 students 3 through 8 in the schools that are historically overcrowded.
You know what I see? I've always seen this, and and it comes from you people. The administration is compassion. You guys have compassion. The women involved have compassion. And Matt, I do agree what you said. I think you go in there and you do take it personally, and you're there for the student. I think Rocco is going to expand on that when we come back for a break. Folks, if you just tuned in, you're watching the Sam Lesante Show. My guest, Dr. Frank Antonelli, Superintendent of the Hazleton Area School District, Rocco Petrone, who's the principal, and Matt Marnell, who's principal of McAdoo Elementary. Come back, we'll talk about the high school. Remember, folks, you see the broad concept here? There's a lot involved, and the challenges are great, but they're working on them, and they're succeeding. And Frank just told you how many things we are leading in, not only in the state, but in the country. So we have great opportunities here, and we're going to address them, and they're going to be solved. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, you can watch this show anywhere in the world on ssptv.com. Over 1 million hits on our website. Thank you so much. And my email is sam@ssptv.com. I want to thank you, folks. The girls won a state award on their show with the Garden Club, and that's a very prestigious award. I want to compliment my wife, my daughter, and the show, the girls. Of course, Sam Lesante Show, thank you very much. #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania, based on surveys. Over 175,000 people now watching this show, and I appreciate that very much. My guest today, Dr. Frank Antonelli, who is the superintendent of the Hazleton Area School District. I'm making it Dr. Rocco, Rocco Petrone, who is the principal, and Matt Marnell, who is the principal of McAdoo Elementary. As we continue on, Rocco, in terms of what's happening in the high school, okay, 3,200 students. So give us, what you guys are doing and working with the students.
Well, first, thank you for the opportunity to come here and speak about our district and what we do at the high school level. I find it very interesting that we start off by talking to someone in the community and pointing out some negative aspects about our schools, and they couldn't be more wrong. We embrace our students. You know, I hear both a principal of a school and a superintendent of our entire district talk about how much we care about our kids, and that's the absolute truth. If you would see the compassion our teachers have working with these students on a day-to-day basis, and then to tell our students, well, guess what, you're on the bottom, because that's what we decide to publicize the negative side of it. But if we only would see the positives every single day. If we look at our top students in our Hazleton Area High School, and I'm talking 3,200 students that are placed in 4 different buildings. We have the main high school, we have the Career Center, a 9th grade center, and our new magnet school. You take our top students, and we give 6 advanced placement tests, and these are worldwide tests. These aren't just specific to Hazleton, they're worldwide tests. You get compared to the country, the state, and globally. We come out way above the average of the United States in 3 of those 6 tests. In 1 other test, we're even with the United States, and in 2, we're less than 1/2 a point off of the national average. As you heard Dr. Antonelli say, we're the top 1% at the AP Calc exam. Let me give you an example. Across the United States, 33% of students in the United States that take an advanced placement calc test score a 1. That's the bottom you can score. 0 students in Hazleton High School score a 1, 0 score a 2, and 0 scored a 3 in the last 3 years. We're in the top 1%. And I'm not just limited to AP Calc, that's just one of our better ones. So there's a lot of positive things that go on. If you truly want to compare Hazleton Area High School or Hazleton Area School District to other school districts, then compare those students that are with our district the entire time and then weight those that are transient. Let me explain what I mean, Sam. Let's say you're in 5th grade and you take a state assessment and you've been with us for 5 years. I won't count kindergarten, I'll count 1st grade. Well then, you're 5 out of 5 years, that's 1.0. Let's weight your score as multiply that by 1. But if you've been with us for 1 year, we only had 1 chance to influence you. You've been with us for 1 year, so we're going to weight your score as 1 out of 5. 1/5 of your score would be weighted for our school district. That would be a true measurement of how a school does. So to those in the public that want to be negative, you can find negative in anything. You could take the Super Bowl champions and find something negative about them. But you have to work hard every single day and see what goes on in that classroom. And our teachers are wonderful, wonderful people. There's a difference between being a good teacher and a good person. We have very good teachers. They're also a good person because they're so compassionate and they give so much of their time. You're seeing what they do from bell to bell. We see them long before school starts and long after school ends, and they put their time in.
And that's the point, okay? I know you have some challenges, okay? But I think, as you said, Frank, you need time to address them. But however, look at, excuse me, the multiple successes that the district has had, and Rocco, you so eloquently put that in perspective, okay? As to what you did, Matt, up in McAdoo. Continuing on, I said to you, I want to do a reality show, okay, and start from the day of the teachers, from the morning until the night when they come in. And I think you said I'd win an Emmy. Yes, I would win an Emmy, because I think when people understand that, listen, I think there are some negative people out there, Rocco. You may have had people who didn't get jobs and they're upset. You know, you have all this stuff. But in general, I think the public is looking at this and accepting what's happening, and you're addressing them. As you said, we feel sorry for the poverty people, and you're working with them, okay? They're not stupid. That's for definitely sure. And I appreciate you making that. Yeah, they're not,
for sure.
And so, with that being said, as these teachers are coping with that, we're hoping that the parents or guardians, particularly Hispanic, would help them, you know, watch English shows, learn English as much as they can, so they could become better adapted in school. These kids want to learn. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I mean, those folks are here because they want a quality education and a better life, and they're looking to us to provide that for them. And as I said, we embrace that challenge.
You're familiar with the HIP program?
Absolutely.
Okay, and there's a program that when it first started, everyone had, you know, it was only going to be, I see these kids working together. I see in your high school, I see in you know, different schools. Yes, the kids are working together as much as they can. There is a couple that you got to slap their hands, but as that continues on, then that mix, that could only help, right, Frank? Or,
there's no question about that. I'm a sponsor for the HIP program personally. Just had an opportunity to chat with Elaine Curry the other day. They're seeing 1,800 students per week.
Yes.
And we are partnering with them. We have helped provide textbooks and reading materials for their efforts there. And you're absolutely right. That's a wonderful partnership that could only help the students of the Hazleton Area School District.
As a coach, when you were a coach, they have cheerleaders, they have people, they have pep rallies, they have people that get you excited about what's going on. And I think as all the administrators and people who are involved have to be the pep rally, we as a public have to support and give you the support that you need. So, you know, the teachers, you know, they're drained at the end of the day.
And you're exactly right, because I don't think there's any reason to consistently put students down. That's easy to do. If you truly want to make a difference, then find something positive. Help people. How would you like to be one of these students? We feel sorry for them. We do everything we can for them. How would you like to be placed in a situation where you don't understand a word anyone is saying, but yet we're going to test you and compare you to those that have been speaking the language their entire life? We feel sorry for those students, and we'll do anything we can. So anybody that wants to put something negative out there about them, don't worry about that, because we're there to consistently influence them in a positive way.
Sammy, just a step forward. Nobody wants this district to be successful more than us, more than the administrators, more than the teachers. You know, I grew up in this community. You know, I taught at the high school for 12 years. My children are in this school district. My mother is in the real estate business, which is closely tied to the success of our school district. You know, and so every day we wake up with a goal of being great. You know, we're not making excuses here, and our teachers do as well. And if I could just say one thing, just to testify to how much I believe in the district, my 2 children who are currently at Valley Elementary will come up through the Hazleton Area High School because they know, and I know, that they'll get an education second to none if they want it.
Yeah. There's no reason for any excuses. I think all of the people in the district right now are doing a fabulous job based on facts, and that's what we're presenting today, based on facts. We will take a short break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. My guest, Dr. Antonelli, I keep making him a doctor, Rocco, Mr. Petrone, Rocco Petrone, and Professor Matthew Marnell. See, I made you a professor. Let's talk about pre-K, how very important that is in the system right now.
Certainly, getting back to the children of poverty, it's essential that all 3 and 4-year-olds in the state of Pennsylvania have access to quality pre-kindergarten programs, because research has shown children who have access to quality pre-K will in fact stay in school longer, be much more successful in school. As adults, their employment and earning power increases substantially. So I'm asking everyone to go and Google pre-K for PA and become part of the campaign to ensure quality pre-K programs throughout this state for all 3 and 4-year-olds.
Rocco, about a minute on you. What would you like to say in closing?
Well, I believe in our students, and I believe in the entire Hazleton area school district. And Matt said it well. We wouldn't trade our students for anybody in the world. Our teachers do a great job, and we're here to tell you that there's no doubt anyone that goes to Hazleton area school district is getting a top quality education.
Matthew?
Well, again, just to echo the previous comments, is how proud we are of our teachers and of the students within our district. And you know, it breaks your heart to see what some of these kids have to go through on a daily basis. And we try to make the 6 hours or so that our students are with us the best 6 hours of their day. In most cases,
how much input do you get? And I know this is a stupid question, but just so public understand this. How much input do you get from the teachers and the aides who are in the battlefield, and I hate to say battle, but in the battle every day? How much input do you get, Matthew, in your school?
Well, you know, we speak every day, you know, and whether it's collectively or individually with teachers and with students. So, again, going back to what we were talking about, their evaluation process, there is a lot of communication back and forth, you know, with the needs. We have data teams, which we study data every week. Where are we going, and where we need to go, and the teachers have to have that input as far as where we're going as well.
Rocco?
Well, there's no question. Teachers spend more time with these students than their own family do, because they're with them all day long, and they know about them. You know, you're teaching and influencing and inspiring students every single day. So you're teaching a lot more than the course that you're standing in front of, as far as a daily basis. There's a difference with teachers. There are teachers that are dedicated to the course they're teaching, and then there are teachers that are dedicated to students. And it wouldn't matter what they teach, they would be successful with these students. And that's what we have. You have dedicated, compassionate people that spend hours and hours a day with their students, and they know them well. You know, in high school, you have 88-minute long classes. That's a long time. That's an hour and a half you are in front of those students. You get to know them. You know what makes them tick. You know that they're having a bad day at home or a bad day socially, maybe in school with crisis and things like that. Teachers are involved, and they know exactly what they need to do to be successful. And it breaks their heart when they read, oh, we're on the bottom. They're nowhere near the bottom.
Frank, shows like this, I think, are very important. I wish we could go longer because there's so much more information. You know, you're always welcome to come on the Sam Lesante Show to let the public know what we're doing. Yes, there are some things. This is not all rosy, but I think on a scale from 0 to 10, we're about 9, and we're doing well. I wish I had a magic wand sometimes to give you that, Frank, but I got to compliment you on one area. First of all, congratulations on a great, tremendous staff you have, and I mean that sincerely. Teachers are second to none. Our school district teachers, give them a break. The school board, I think, right now is doing extremely well. I think it's one of the best boards
Again,
we've
I
had.
agree.
And you can see how things are progressing. So this is a very positive thing. I'm very proud to say that I'm part, involved in the Hazleton area. Folks, it's the Sam Lesante Show. We're not trying to paint any rosy pictures here, but we're giving you facts. There are so many great things happening. All you need to do is find out about it. But get involved in this pre-K for PA program. It's an excellent program to get involved with. We'll see you next time.